Hello, everyone, and welcome. Whether you're watching this on YouTube or Instagram or in the community section, this is Mark. I'm working with Mark. He is a transpersonal psychotherapist and a really, really helpful wealth of knowledge in terms of like how we can ground ourselves in our body, in our mind, and how we can help others heal as we heal ourselves. So, in today's topic, we're going to be talking about presence and about the foundations of healing, how important it is in terms of healing oneself and others.
Thanks,
So,
my friend. Thank
Mark,
you for
I'm very glad to work with you, and I'm very excited for the potential that we will be delivering to everyone, especially for the parents and the children.
well, same
Can you
here. Wes. I appreciate it. I appreciate it. Thank you.
thank you. So, Mark, can you tell us like an introduction about presence and how do you feel that would be helpful for the parents?
Well, there are many books on presence. Eckhart Tolle is probably the most famous one, but there are many teachers on the state of presence, which is a state of spacious concentration or focus, which is a state of awareness, which is also letting go of what no longer serves serving you. To me, it's a connection with your higher self or with the spiritual dimension. Now, of course, we're all spiritual beings first and foremost. So, having said that, it's the egoic mind that blocks us. That's the obstacle. Our thoughts, specifically, go in four directions. We tell stories to ourselves about the future. We tell stories about ourselves about the past. We tell stories to ourselves about others. And we tell stories to ourselves about ourselves. And these directions, these four directions, are pure suffering to me. And it's called, we call it the egoic mind. Now, when the little child is driving the car, uh, we tend to suffer. But when we're connected to our awareness or our higher selves or whatever dimension you want to call it, then we get insights from our awareness and not from our egoic mind, not from the child in us, which we
Mhm.
all have, but from pure divine awareness. And to me, it's just a matter of being in the body. So if you're connected and in your body, like they say, by the way, the body is in the spirit. It's not the spirit that's in the body. So for example, everybody does it differently, but I feel the vibrations in my body. All body sensations are in the now. When you're doing something, you're really living it. That's being in the now. And in this moment, which is perfect, and the doorway to more and more insights and to the divine, if you want, you are connected again to your higher self or to the spiritual part of you. And that's where I find joy, and people find joy. I've had many students work with me on this state of presence, and which has changed their lives. So again, like they say, suffering is unavoidable. Pain is probably not avoidable in life in this duality.
True.
But there is a way to reduce suffering and to actually eliminate suffering, no matter what is happening in your life. And again, with parents who have difficult children or children with autism, as you mentioned many times, while the children are mirroring us,
Mhm.
even friends mirror us sometimes. And if you're bathing in that loving, joyful, peaceful energy, it's going to affect them positively. It's going to allow them, give them the space to grow, to be focused and fearless and aware, which is the name of my book. I wasn't advertising, it just came out. So that's 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 how I'm living my life as much as I can nowadays.
Yeah. In your book, you talk a lot about these mental or thought patterns that we self-talk about ourselves, about others, all that. super, super interesting for those who want to check it out. Um, so the code that you spoke, like suffering is not necessary, but pain is unavoidable, right? Like suffering is avoidable, but pain is not avoidable. This also shines light on the aspect that it's not like presence is not about like, okay, forgetting about the problems, forgetting about you're still living in
No,
this physical world and
not at
the
all.
problems. No, it's addressing it more clearly. And I think there's many misconception in the spiritual community or the community where like they raise awareness towards, okay, health and presence, the power of now, where, oh, we just have to just be present and just let go of all the responsibilities. But this is not what we're talking about here, right?
No, not at all. Yeah, so mindfulness is probably a prerequisite for presence. A lot of people talk about mindfulness. You're observing what's going on. To me, it's about responding and not reacting. So I think Eckhart Tolle gives a great example on this, and other teachers as well, where somebody's stuck in the mud with their car, and they respond. It's not that they're not doing anything; they're responding to get the car out of the mud, but they're not reacting. They're not letting their egoic mind or little child inside of them take over. You see,
Mhm.
that's the important thing. So no, it's definitely not about not taking action. You take action, you're living it, but you're connected to your awareness, your consciousness, whatever you want to call it, your higher self, your divine God, source, you know, uh, whatever you want to call it again.
Yeah.
So I've noticed that there really isn't any problem right here in the present, in the now. Now, God knows there are a lot of challenges in life, but right now, in this very specific moment, I'm fine. I'm vibrating. I'm feeling good. And your level of joy is actually directly proportional to your level of presence, no matter what is happening.
Mhm.
Now, of course, you have, if all of us have limiting beliefs, if we can get rid of those limiting beliefs and replace them with empowering beliefs, then it's easier, in my opinion. I could be wrong, of course, but in my opinion, in my experience over the decades, I learned to uh, shift my energy into this energy of presence, into a different me. And the limiting beliefs I had shackled me. So once I replaced those, for example, I really believe we're spiritual beings living, an experience here on earth in this body to manifest our divinity, or to remember, like I think another teacher says, re-member, become a member of God again, remember who we are. So the more you practice this, the easier it becomes. That's just my experience.
Mhm. Yeah. Spirituality, as you said to me last time, that it's not separate from this reality. It's the main reality that we're living in.
Of
Uh,
course.
there's a lot of people who look at what we're saying as something that is new age and that maybe is denying their spiritual or their religious beliefs. But this is complementary, like the whether you're Christian, Muslim, Jewish, any type of religion, like this is going to help in the spiritual connection that you wage in terms of like how you communicate with God, with the universe, with the people around you. So it's not against any spiritual belief.
Of
It's
course
actually
not.
basically a tool that will help us.
For
So
the Yeah,
yeah.
you just remind me of something. Sorry to interrupt, but all shamans, everything's spirit for shamans. The spirit of the chair, the spirit of the flower, the spirit of the plant medicine. It's all spirits, and that's of course part of us. Now, spirituality has probably a strange connotation. Yeah, spiritual. What does that mean? All it means to me is that you're happy. You're happy for no reason. There's another book on that I really recommend, being happy for no reason. And once you connect with that, you really are happy for no specific reason, even though you can find always gratitude in everything. And the pain's a great teacher, by the way, in this
Mhm.
duality. It's a great teacher. So it's all intermingled, all intermingled. And the essence of religion is what? Is spirituality, by the way. We're
Yeah.
not going to go into that, but of course, we're not against any religion whatsoever. No, on the contrary, I accept everything that's happening in this on this planet. And some people will say it's good or bad. Well, whatever it is, it's now and it's here and we accept it the way it is right now, and see how that suffering and that pressure is relieved because there's a cosmic game going on.
Mhm. Yeah. So our point with presence is how we are being present in our body with our spiritual existence, right? And this is like a main pillar in health. Um, Most of the stressors in life can create health problems. It's not about the pain or the stressor. It's about how we're reacting to it and how we're addressing it, how we're addressing this problem, right?
Yes,
So
definitely. Yeah.
yeah,
You can be sick, like, some people I know, but it's the stories we tell ourselves about the disease, if it's a physical disease. It's the stories that cause suffering. It's not the fact that you're sick, really. Okay, now people probably in general don't accept that easily, but I've been there, and it's the stories I used to tell myself that made me really suffer. It wasn't the heart attack or the six, arteries that were, clogged, but that's another story. I've been through the physical and emotional pain, but that's what got me to become more present. And the insight was, Mark, talk about this. You've lived this. And many teachers have lived this, and many of us have lived this. All of us have had pain and suffering. Suffering can be eliminated. It can.
it's beautiful. As simple as it seems, it does require a lot of discipline, right?
Yes,
But
it does.
it's the main, yeah, it's the main foundation of like health, right? Because if we're present with our body, then we're listening to what our body wants, right? The type of food that it wants, the type of relaxation, the things that we need. We start listening to ourselves, right? And if we are present with our mind, then we are more careful about the stories that we tell about ourselves, about others, so we get this awareness. And also when we're present with our spirit, with our connection, like this is going, like imagine if we go to sleep and we're not connected with this essence, right? With the spiritual essence. We're going to be not grounded. We're going to be waking up on the opposite side of the bed. We're going to be easily stressed if we're not grounded in presence, whether it's on a physical level, mental level, spiritual level. Uh, this domain of presence is super, super critical. And that's what we're talking about here in terms of like the parent-child relationship. So for you as a parent right now, you might think that, oh, I have so much things to do. I have to do this supplement. I have to do this test. There's this health advice that I saw on the internet. Um, they should eat this, eat that. Even I speak about health and food, but don't take this data or this knowledge to be a burden, because it will be a burden if you're not being present. But if you're being present, then you'll start observing all these things more carefully. You're being grounded. And this is the foundation, because this is something that I teach, and I discovered that recently. Like first, when I first started, I only talked about food. Okay, let's see how they're doing with the diet, blah blah blah. Let's change the schedule. Let's add this food, and I did get results. Like many kids will like have better bowel movement, all that stuff. But then I started discovering that there's deeper level of this, right? There's a deeper need of healing. I don't want to use the term need, but there's a urgent thing that we have to do, and that's the energy that we place, the vibration, the frequency that we place, and that can be solved with presence.
Yeah,
Uh,
I want to simplify that because we might sound a little woo-woo and out there, but there are practical steps and practical things we can do to be present, to be human beings, right? We're not human doings, we're called human beings, capital B. Um, but also,
That's a great
one,
one.
yeah. So I just want to say these are practical things. There are practical things we can do and become stronger and stronger. Even Jesus said, he was talking about, I don't know who exactly, but he said, they don't have enough oil in their lamp. What he meant is they don't have enough presence in their bodies. That was a metaphor that I don't think many people got, but of course, my teachers taught me this, and I live this as much as I can. Now I make mistakes like everybody else, but the masters, these are people who are super present. Yeah, I don't know. In my dimensional breathwork meditations, 1, 2, 3, 4 in our community, while I think it's well explained and practical. So yeah, I'd love to, have this interview on our in our community as well.
Yeah, definitely. We will be keeping on expanding on this topic because it's like the more that we surround ourselves with this knowledge, the more that we bring awareness towards it, right? So if you think about presence every day or maybe every hour, then you're going to be disciplined towards it, right? And
Yeah, thinking. You want to get that word out, out of there. Thinking is not it's not a good thing for for most people, but you can
awareness,
from your
awareness.
present. You
Yeah.
can be and then use your thinking from the consciousness and awareness that you have. That's a different ball game.
Mhm.
Uh, but most of us, you know, humans on this planet consider it normal to overthink. And that's our the real dilemma, in my opinion, and the opinion of many of my teachers. I've had many teachers over the decades. So I would like to share how we can do this with people who are interested, and
Yeah,
that's just
sure.
part of my mission, I feel.
Sure. Yeah. Let's talk about some of the practical um, ways that parents can follow. They don't really need a lot of books or resources to start with. What are some of the practical things that they can do and start practicing today and even now?
Yeah, so I'll just mention what I do. I always have some attention on the vibrations, which are the aliveness of your cells or the aliveness of your body. These vibrations are tinglings, or sometimes people feel warmth in their hands. You know, um, it's actually the aliveness of your cells. So I always, no matter what I do, I have some of my attention on these vibrations, which ground me because I'm in my body, and it's when you're out of your body, and well, I'm not going to talk about psychedelics or plant medicine. That's a different ball game. But you can be the biggest obstacle to receiving insights and healing is not being present. Actually, now practically, you ask me, I always keep some of my attention on my physical sensations. In my case, the vibrations. Some people feel the breath coming in their nose and out their mouth. I'm more into the vibrations. Right now, I'm vibrating all over because I'm feeling really into this. So that has been a great help for me, honestly. It's super simple, but I think everybody needs a little guide to remind them to be present, to show them how we can deal with so-called challenges, not problems, but challenges, because there are always challenges. And this I'd love to help people with and assist
Mhm.
in doing that. So I don't know if that was practical enough, but that's the way I do it.
Yeah, so there's like the general aspect of like what I think that everyone can do, and the more personalized thing where like, okay, there's certain challenges that unique people go through, right? But as a general aspect, you mentioned being grounded in the body, like feeling the body is
The
super
aliveness. Yeah,
alive.
feeling the aliveness of the body, which to me are these tinglings I'm feeling in my hands right now. They're like tingling like crazy. My whole body's tingling and
Yeah,
vibrating. I know that's the aliveness of myself. It's my divinity, if you want.
wow.
So I know it sounds strange, but it's actually very practical.
Yeah. If we think about it from a perspective of like, imagine each cell in your body as your child, right? And you're bringing more awareness to that child and you're loving it, right? Uh, that grounds us in self-healing, in self-love, and presence as well.
Well, different strokes for different folks, you know.
Yeah.
I'm just saying the way I do it, the way I do it, you know, I'm happy with what I'm doing, so I'd like to share this
Yeah.
with others because I suffer just like everybody else, and no need to suffer that much. No need.
Yeah.
Even
So
if
like,
you're, yeah, even
yes,
if you're in a difficult situation, which I've been in, you know, let's not go into that, but you know where I live and you know how it is. So I think I don't want to overdo it today, overbe it or overdo it, but I know that you and I can assist people in this and relieve a lot of suffering. I know this for a fact. This is a knowing and it's vibrating here. I know this.
yeah.
Been there, done that.
I've heard one of your interviews where you're talking about the power of imagination in terms of how we can dwell into that moment and presence. Um, if the mind is overwhelmed with overthinking, then there's no room for imagination. Uh, that could be the case where like we're dwelling in the thoughts in things that are out of our control, maybe fear, um, guilt, regrets, stuff of that nature. Um,
Well, there's a lot to be said there. Daydreaming or imagination is not really presence. But the shamans, for example, use the imaginal. They don't call it the imagination, or in Arabic, it's another term. And that's the doorway to the spiritual. It might be a little bit different than presence. Presence is just being immersed in what you're doing, so much so that you're just living it, you're being. So it's a little bit different. But since I worked a lot with shamans in Peru over, you know, for more than a decade, you know, it's a different concept. Uh, but there are always ways, there are different ways to
yeah.
use the imaginal, and there it's effective. I tend to think that presence is even more effective.
Mhm. Great. Awesome. Okay. So we talked about the importance of presence and why it's critical in any healing. You know, if you have any health problem, from stress, from autoimmune problems, from gut problems, because the gut is dependent on the nervous system, right?
Yeah,
We don't consciously digest food. It's going to run automatically through our nervous system. A lot
hopefully,
of
yeah.
the health problems, and I'm not sure, 70 to 80% of the health problems, I think it's more, are related to our mind patterns, to our emotions,
Yeah.
and they drive the health problems, right?
It's
So,
the emotional body. Yeah, I talked about this, the emotional body, the limbic system, the nervous system, the endocrine and immune systems. I learned this in shamanism. But of course, you know, the World Health Organization says that 83% of all diseases are psychosomatic. What they meant is psychogenic. Everything's psychosomatic. Come on, you cannot separate the mental, the emotional, and physical and spiritual bodies, you know, from each other. It's all a whole. So we're moving towards wholeness here. And definitely, when you have that space, you're present, then you get the insights to heal. You get the energy to heal. All healing is self-healing. All therapy is self-therapy. People go to someone, yeah, heal me. No, it doesn't work that way, you know. Uh,
yeah,
but
yeah,
again, we can explain this in our private calls, one-on-one, and we can go more into detail. And it's again, it's practical. That's what I
yeah,
love about it. It's not theory. We're not talking theory. You know, it's practical. It can be done, and you can be capital B.
yeah. Yeah, if you joined our community, me and Mark, and you had the call with us, we will be having a tailored approach for you. But currently, we're talking about general stuff. But in our one-to-one calls, we will be addressing the main things, the main bottlenecks, the main obstacles that you're facing, and creating like a practical structure for you.
Yeah.
Um,
I want to say something. While I don't think we should go too long on this, most people will not watch a video that long, in my experience. So, what do you think?
I think they can, especially if we're talking about presence. This is a good practice as well when they're listening to something like that. But yeah, we can not make it that long. We can cut it short. I just want to discuss certain things more
Yeah.
thoroughly. Um, I was thinking about how we, like, when we are being present in ourself, in our body, and we're approaching the solution, right? Let's say if the solution is this supplement or this type of food, right? If I look at that as an urgency, I have to get that. I need that because this is the solution, right? So I'm approaching that thing that is going to help me in a scarcity mindset, right?
Yeah,
So
definitely.
although we have the tools that are necessary, although we have maybe the knowledge, the background, the food, the resources, all that stuff, if we're approaching it or seeing it as a scarcity thing, that, oh, we need that external solution, we need that therapy, we need, yeah,
Yeah, need or want. It's based on a scarcity, on a fear. I want this, I need this. That's stress right there. That's not being. That's not
yeah,
present.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, it's more complex. It's simple yet complex at the same time. These are, opposites in excuse me, in spirituality. You always have some type of opposite there.
yeah. So yeah, the thing is, like, when we're talking about presence, it's the, like, prerequisite of everything that you want to do for healing. If you want to start from the ground up, because now you're grounding in yourself, you're seeing that solution as something is a good potential that you can reap, you work on, but you're starting it with a good frequency, with a good intent, and that will help you so much in the journey with your child, with yourself, and that's why, like, we are addressing it uh, so much, and we're looking into it as a main foundation for
There's
healing.
still, there, there's still a lot of thinking here. So it sometimes it's difficult to explain, but being, once you are capital A, once you're present, you know it, you feel it, you just are. So there's no need for any thinking or wanting, no attachments, the need for attention controls, oneness, security, all that
Yeah.
doesn't
And
help very much.
and in the household, this is not something that parents can buy. Like, you cannot purchase presence. You cannot buy this thing. So in terms of, like, the practical way of the mirroring effect, how we can influence the child, how we can help the child calm down, go into the security phase where it's like they can start growing and seeking growth, overcoming challenges in a better way. This is a practical thing. Like, the moment that the parent is present, it will
Yeah,
impact the child. And that alone is super, super helpful, because now the child is going from fight or flight. And now the child is more grounded, and the child is more observant, and he's mirroring the parent's presence. And the child is
energy.
more presence. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a shift in energy if you want from being stressed to being joyful, from being upset or frustrated or and to being peaceful and joyful and loving and it
Yeah.
comes naturally. You don't have to make an effort. Again, there's no effort here. It just is. So this affects the child, of course. The child is mirroring and learning and absorbing. And the subconscious mind is absorbing everything, uh, very, very like a sponge when we're children. A
Mhm.
lot. So yeah, of course, that's everything. To me, it's everything.
Mhm. Yeah. Uh, there's a thing, like, you cannot buy it. Like, this is one of the things that money cannot buy, right? Money cannot buy
My
presence,
happiness. Yeah.
right? So you just have to be present, and to be
I have
present,
millionaire friends. I have millionaire friends that will disagree with me. They have tons of money, and most of them are not happy. That's very
yeah,
strangely enough. I guess it's how you use it. Money is a tool. So yeah,
Yeah.
they say money doesn't buy happiness. I've had a lot of money before, not anymore because of the situation here. You know how it is.
Yeah.
But yeah, money does not buy happiness. It can buy you comfort, but it
Mhm.
can't buy you presence. It can't get you that connection, that divine, peaceful, joyful aliveness
Yeah.
that presence is.
Mhm. And the parents are irreplaceable. Like we cannot replace the parents with therapy or therapists, etc., because we're changing the lifestyle at home. We're changing the home energy when we're working on this, and that's a root solution, right? And it's going to create this huge tree in the house that flourishes with good essence, with good vibration, and that's what we want you to do, and what everyone is working on.
To
Me,
be,
I'm working. Yeah,
yeah, it's energy. Everything's energy, right?
yeah,
Everything.
yeah. And as we work on this thing, this healing approach, we start with presence. We're going to radiate that vibration automatically, and we are doing the work, right? So we're taking a little bit of responsibility in terms of like, okay, this presence thing, it's different than okay, I'm following a meal plan or something like this is something that I have to do with myself, right? I cannot teach my child unless if I teach myself how to do it.
Feel it, be it instead of doing. Yeah, feeling and being that source, part of source. It's ineffable, Well, not really. We can't explain it, but again, we're in the mind here, so being is different.
I think if we explain it as much as we can, and even people talk about it, and we talk about it to parents, it allows us to look at it from different angles, because in our world, in our educational system, we're tending to see like things from one perspective, right? But the more that
Yeah,
we enjoy like the different examples, the different way of looking at it, and
yeah,
we embrace it, then we basically are being present in that knowledge because
yeah.
knowledge is good and the imagination as well. So it's
Focus.
going to be positive in all ways if we explain it, and probably even the parents will explain it in their own different ways, and it's good for them to maybe think about it at a certain point where okay, what is happening, what is presence to me, how can I be connected, just to
Yeah,
feel presence and know
of
more
course,
about it.
or else people will not write books about it. But again, this is barely scratching the surface. You just reminded me of something. You know those race car drivers, the Formula One race car drivers, the people who, alpinists or those who escalade in French. They go up and how do you say escalade in English?
Not sure what that word is.
Climbing, cliffs and climbing Mount Everest. These
Oh,
people who are into dangerous, intense sports, they love it so much. They say it's the adrenaline, but actually it's not. It's because they're so present that one little mistake and
oh,
one little mistake of not focusing, you're out of presence and you die. You can't mess around with that. But they love it because they're present. But you don't need to go into a 200 miles per hour in a car to feel present. If you're driving as a driver, a race car driver, one little mistake, you're dead. So they're so focused. Okay, that's called presence as well. So presence is happening all the time. It's just that people define it in different ways. The way I define it is just being, feeling the vibes, feeling the aliveness of my cells. Being right now, I'm being and I'm happy. Once I get out of that, then I start remembering all those problems that I don't want to go there. I'm fine right here. And the great thing is we get insights on how to heal, on how to solve these problems. So I don't know how we can explain it better than that, but I will show anybody who asks me to how to do this and how to be this.
yeah, perfect. It was a great chat, Mark.
Great, great
To
chatting with you,
go,
Wyatt.
yeah, to sum it up, presence is being grounded. Can we somehow change it a little bit in terms of like, okay, being grounded in your body and feeling yourself, not going all over the place with the thoughts, with the mind, just being grounded, feeling the aliveness of your body, uh,
Yeah.
and that will allow us to engage with problems and in
Sure.
a better, more effective way.
Sure, yeah. Being happy, being happy, basically. It's
Yeah.
pretty simple sometimes. Yeah. Thanks, my friend.
Well, so yeah, this was a talk about presence and the mirroring effect, how it's going to influence children, and it's the main foundation when it comes to helping your kid and helping yourself as well. Thank you so much, Mark, for
Thank you.
that. Okay.
يلا تشاء. حكينا
Okay.
ساعتين يا خيي، بس ما حدا. Nobody's gonna follow this. It's too long.